It was always nice beating West Coast. And
was a rivalry real? Like we've had Mickey Barlow, had Ballantyne on.
It was real. Yeah, it definitely was real. I think there was. I mean, I played across 17 years, so like there was probably different kind of. It ebbed and flowed. I think in terms of my second ever derby was the Demolition Derby.
Was that when they were wearing that jumper there?
Yep. Yeah, so
Gardy, imagine Michael Gardiner in that.
Yeah, Gardy comes out throwing haymakers at me.
Can you remember that? Can you tell us? Like, you were young, right?
Yeah, I was 18, and Gardy had been out with a shoulder. I mean, both teams at that year had a really poor season. The bottom sort of half of the ladder, and Gardy had been out with a shoulder injury, and he had this big. He could hardly kind of move it. He's sort of strapped to all sorts, and I went down. I was playing full back and he was playing full forward, and I went down and bumped his shoulder. It was like, he's been out, let's just see what's going on. And then he just started throwing punches. I wasn't expecting that, and I just couldn't get anywhere near him because he's got such a long reach, and plus I had no idea what I was doing. And then I remember slipping over, which I think kind of helped me, because by that stage there was a free kick given away and there was another spot fire, and then I still remember like visibly seeing the one that happened early in that first quarter where Dale started going berserk, and there was just this all in, and I remember standing at like full forward going, what do we do here? What happens? It's sort of just running.
The rules?
But there were no rules. There was just and then it was crazy that game. And then, we win by a point. I actually got knocked out later in the game for a different reason. Ash McIntosh ran through me, it was no rules that game. So that was intense. I landed in an intense, we hate them, we need to beat them kind of thing. And then I think it probably mellowed slightly for a little period, and then it heated up again. When did you arrive at the club? 06?
07, end of 06. So when the Carr brothers, there's that sort of derby.
Yeah.
Shawnee Mack spoke about that on the podcast. Basically, he was captain, I think co-captain, and he talked about a meeting before that game where basically West going to fight them.
Yeah. Well, it was like, okay, there's a fair bit of noise going around. We're just going to go verbally and physically at every opportunity here. So at that point in time, obviously pretty well known what was going on, but it was just like, you know what, it's time to kind of went through these. And then I can't really, from 2010 onwards until when I retired, there was maybe a few moments, but it was more just we wanted to beat each other. It wasn't necessarily. Well, what was your view?
It was real. It was real. Like I remember playing in my first derby, and it was such a step above in intensity. Like it was as close to a final as you would get in a regular season. Well, would you agree with that?
100%.
I remember like my first one. I remember sort of like you and with Gardy, but I was coming off the top of I was sort of a high half back and just running into the first contest, and there was just bodies just. Like men smacking. I was like, what is going on? Same thing. I was like, I don't know. You were saying that at a fight. I was looking at the football game. Like, what is going on? I remember one, you and I hadn't written it down, but I was at one stage of my career, I was allowed to kick out. They used to, I was the designated kicker. Not sure what
extra
I was thinking.
Possessions.
Probably potentially when we won the Wooden Spoon in 2010, somewhere there. And I missed one. It was early in a derby. Kicked it straight down a Freo player's throat. Behind. All right, here's your chance to redeem yourself. Hit another Freo player straight up. Missed the second set shot. Brad Shepherd, an 18-year-old, comes up. He goes, "Scully, give me." I'm like, "Get the fuck away from me right now." I get it. I kick it as far as I can. It's a turnover, straight over my head, goal. So 3 in a row. And I was playing on you that day, and it's probably similar to Michael. I just thought, well, if I can't hit targets, I'm just going to fight. So I just grabbed Pav and I just started fighting Pav. Eric McKenzie's come over to save me because Pav's a bigger man than me. He thought Scully's easy takes over with Pav.
I can't remember this.
Eric he either got suspended or a fine. Michael Johnson came in. He punched someone. He was bleeding.
Yeah.
You were probably trying to get out of it. I started and then I just ran off. So that's probably as close, but that wasn't a hatred. It was
just more turning the ball over.
Yeah, it was,
No, but walking around the street as well, like it was almost, you couldn't quarantine yourself from, smash them this week or go the Eagles or whatever it may have been. Like it was hard to kind of escape that intensity just because you're walking around, you're getting your coffee or you're going into the supermarket. So you kind of had the internal chat of we want to smash them. physically and on the scoreboard, and then you have the external like heat of it, and then if you make a few mistakes, it's a good way of distracting yourself from the mistakes by starting to blue.
Correct, and then get out of it, don't get fined, and then you're all good.